Hey, troops, this is Roy from Geeks Adventures. Yeah. It was interesting getting up this morning, checking through Facebook and all this whatnot. And all of a sudden, a friend of mine posted Sean Connery, and I'm like, what? And usually this stuff pops up, and it just kind of flashes on your feed like crazy. So I'm like, where did you see this? For verification, and they're like, BBC, dude. And literally, jump on there, and I'm flipping through, and of course, there's 5 tons of junk on it. And then literally it says, posted 3 minutes ago, Sean Connery. And I'm like, the thing I remind myself is that he was 90. So, wow. Talk about a long career and influence. I'm getting ahead of myself a little bit because you talk about characters that have influenced pop culture. We're not just talking about these little pockets of stuff. All right. We're talking about when you say things like when you say Superman, Mickey Mouse, that kind of paradigm shattering influence of pop culture. James Bond is one of them. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Oh, I meant also to add an important disclaimer. I was born in '69, so I'm sorry, but my Bond is Roger Moore. Okay. And further disclosure, sorry, but I like Daniel Craig's Bond. But we'll get to that other stuff. All right, getting ahead of ourselves here. It's easy to get caught up in Bond, well, because obviously, like I said, we're going to get into that stuff because it's massive. But this amount of stuff he's been involved in. Case in point, Hunt for Red October. Proof that, what? You don't need no stinking accent to be a badass. Hi, my name is Mark Aurelius. I am a Ukrainian? I am an Eastern European captain of the most powerful prototype sub in the Russian Navy, but guess what? I sound like a Brit. And guess what? Don't care. So fun. So unflappable. And I think this role is probably what allowed Anthony Hopkins in Mask of Zorro to go, no, I'm not doing no stinking accent. All right, because I'm going to sound stupid because I don't do that well. and the film that has coined, for those of you who wondered why some folks go, one ping only, this is why. What else have we got out here? My favorite movie, like I said, sorry, he's not my Bond. My favorite Sean Connery movie is The Rock. Yes. Woo! And actually, I've always thought that the way the idea for this movie started was as a James, throw it out there, James Bond idea of, what if, he gets old? Okay, what if, his last mission got him in trouble? Because really, literally, just a quick synopsis here. What happens is that a bunch of special ops guys capture for Alcatraz, aka The Rock, for long reasons, blah blah blah. It's a Michael Bay film, okay, so lots of explosions. And they're holding hostages. And they have the 5 tons of chemical weapons. So of course, how do you infiltrate the most impenetrable, inescapable? You can't escape from the place. Prison on the planet. Number one, you find the special ops guy who just happens to look like James Bond and act like James Bond. And because you have chemical weapons, you get the chemical weapons super freak, played by Nicolas Cage, and doing that really well. It's a fun flick. Oh, and Ed Harris is the special ops guy who's leading the villains, sort of kind of villains, blah, 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 blah. Go check Wiki. Go check IMDb. It's a fun Michael Bay film that actually didn't use as many explosives as you would think until the very, very end. And it's only once though, so gotta compensate. Um, but it's a lot of fun just because you spend a lot of time watching and going, maybe he is supposed to be James Bond. And at being, 70 billion years old, still being unflappable, still being badass. And the chemistry between Sean Connery and Nicolas Cage is hysterical as, like I said, chemical super freak. Not really a field agent, but they managed to work together and it's brilliant and fun. My second favorite role that he has had of all time, Dr. Henry Jones Sr. Senior in Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. I mean, we've all got kind of funky opinions about how the trilogy developed, especially with Temple of Doom and going, eh. And all of us now kind of wishing, should have stopped here, man. It was fun seeing Dr. Jones Sr., where Indy got a lot of some of his really bad habits from. Also his genius from as well. And again, just like The Rock, the chemistry between Harrison Ford and Sean Connery is priceless. It's hysterical. It's really poignant and heartwarming too, because you have it's easy to get all tropey about the fathers and sons, the conflict and all that kind of stuff, but to see in their own goofy way, to see the relationship grow and develop, and two of them find the Holy Grail, literally the Holy Grail. Fun stuff. But in the end, for me, and this is the role he got his Oscar for, is as Malone in The Untouchables. Very different in that, I mean, in all these other films, the dude, I mean, even in something like, even as Dr. Jones Sr., as Marco Ramius, he's kind of a superhero. He's this ultimate badass. Okay, intellectual badass, but you get the idea. He's just a cop in this. He's a beat cop. He knows how things work in Chicago. And he knows he's gonna die. You don't you don't take on Al Capone, obviously take on Al Capone and think that you're really gonna live to see retirement, right? No. It's not a brilliant role by any means, but he gives it a sense of life, energy, bluster, and that same unique sense of invulnerability that he gave to Bond, but what he could never give to Bond, that you see that father-son bond between him and Ness. Just everything together is awesome. And of course, there is that wonderful scene between Ness and Malone in the chapel where Malone lectures Ness about, this is the Chicago way of dealing with Capone. But of course, when you talk about Connery, you know who you gotta talk about. Shaken, not stirred. Not stirred. The Walther PPK, the Aston Martin, probably one of the few people on the planet that could make a white tuxedo jacket, make it so that you don't look like a penguin. Like I said at the beginning of this, the influence of Bond is massive. You cannot understate it. How big is Bond? Y'all heard the rumor, right, about MGM. I mean, they have the last Craig Bond film in the can, trying to figure out what they want to do with it, and they're starting to shop it around to all streaming services. You heard about what the bid was, right? You didn't. $600 million. Yeah, $600 million. No. I did not misquote that. They're asking for like the entire budget of this flippin' film, plus the marketing, plus extras. Now, the entire industry is going at this and going, are you out of your bloody mind? However, the reason you can kind of almost see why they think they can get away with it is that 4-letter last name, Bond. It's huge. It's massive. The funny thing is, if memory serves, I mean, for those who have read I've never read any of the books, okay? All I remember is, you always hear about Ian Fleming's James Bond, in all the movies and junk like that. A couple friends of mine who have are like, books actually aren't that great. Films became legend. And created a paradigm. They literally created the genre of the super spy. They created this indestructible superhero. This dude with who is unflappable. One of my favorite scenes, and it's unfortunately not in a Connery film. It's actually from, is it Die Another Day? It is where Bond he ends up being, he's captured in North Korea and yada yada yada, and he ends up part of a prisoner trade, and he escapes, and he's in, I think he's in Hong Kong. He looks like crap, okay, because he's been in a North Korean prison, so he ain't gonna look good. So he looks all disheveled, wrecked. He walks into this, not even 5-star, this 20-star hotel. Doesn't blink. He's got the Bond strut. Goes to the front desk and goes, "Hi," and everyone's like, "Mr. Bond," and he's like, "The usual room." That Unflappable was started because of this dude, okay? Along with a really kind of disturbing, creepy gallows humor. The fact that he was deadly, unfortunately, it took a while before. Keep in mind, deadly. Back then in Dr. No, the first film, having a giant tarantula crawling around was a big deal. Now it's like, most people will be going, tarantulas aren't lethal, right? I mean, they're, they are big and creepy, but but back then it was a big deal. All these things together. Oh, and because of Bond, even if you don't drink, what's in a vodka martini. Although, if memory serves, shaken is not the way you should have it. You should have it stirred. Look, I'm a foodie. I just remember that at random, okay? And the thing is, after all this time, the influence, like I said, the influence is huge. How big? The Kingsman. Red, Jason Bourne. It goes on and on. The long laundry list of films that rely upon tropes, ideas, yada, yada, yada. And the fact that even now, after all this time, even right now, as Daniel Craig goes, "Look, this is my last film, man. I'm done." They're looking for the next Bond. So there you go. Wow. So hey, y'all take care. It's been kind of, this is a little off topic a bit. A lot of, we everything that's been happening lately with 2020 and COVID and everything, it just feels weird. Feels really weird, really frightening, really everything. So I'm trying not to get into that because it's really easy, it's tempting, it's true. I know all of this. It's easy to forget. Look, the dude was 90, all right. Poor guy, he was probably like, I wouldn't mind sticking around, but I'm just tired, man. No offense, but I'm just tired. Probably Roger going, in another dimensional plane going, "Look, whenever you're ready, got the martini ready for you, man." So, I like to think of this as more of a, just a remembrance of the work he did, the fun stuff he did, the fun stuff he brought to us. Especially now when things are really kind of weird and crazy. Like Dr. Jones says, sometimes you just gotta let stuff go. And we're gonna miss you, Sir Sean Connery. So hey, always have your martini shaken, not stirred. Always verify your range with one ping only. And always remember, there will always be only one Sir Sean Connery. So y'all take care. Peace. Bye.